Welcome, everybody. We have a lot to go over today. Oh my God, Once and Always debuted for me 2 a.m. last night. Already watched it 1.5 times. I was trying to get the second half. I know some of you have already watched it 3, 4, 5 times. You guys are amazing. We got a lot of things tonight. We're doing giveaways. We're doing the signed Andros figure giveaway. We are doing the JDF poster giveaway. And we have some couple surprises as well. Guys, Once and Always is here. It was amazing. It was awesome. Nostalgia overload. But we need to bring in our panel to discuss this. And we got a lot of people in the chat already, but we'll bring our people in and we'll go to the chat. First, my partner in crime, our Dimension Ranger. We got Dave's Dimension here. He is in the house. He is in his Boom Comics variant, just hanging out. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, doing well.
You look awesome.
Feeling more phenomenal right now, guys.
More phenomenal. That's the word. Next, we got my chief, my Countdown City Geek brethren. You know him from the Countdown City Geek Cast, Ghost Heads Radio, and just everywhere in San Antonio where he moderates all the cons because he's that cool. He interviews all the celebrities. We got our man, Steady, aka Ted from Countdown.
Thought that introduction was never going to end. Good evening, Rangers. May the power be with you.
And then last, but definitely not least, we got a staple in the Power Rangers community. He is one of the most popular channels here on YouTube for Mighty Morphin. Well, not only just Mighty Morphin, but Power Rangers in general. We got our man Dan from the fan club.
What's going on, everybody? Yo, thanks for having me. I always watch your guys' show, and I was like, one day I just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna hit these guys up and see if they want to collab. And that's what it's all about. And for people out there, that want to make content, that's the cheat code. Hit up people, work together, because if I can give you a little sliver of my followers, I get a sliver of yours. We all eat, man.
For real, for sure, man. And I want to thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you, man. A lot of you, if you guys, I don't know, I know who he is, but if you don't know who he is, this guy covers Power Rangers daily, man. I can't even keep up with that. I don't even know how he does that. That's amazing. We got Red Space Ranger in the chat saying, "Hey, buddy, how are you doing tonight?" I think this was before. We got GM Jason Z. It's an interesting movie, but I think they can tie in the ending. We'll talk about that. Man, my thing is slow here. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even used to this many people here. We got Austin White. How you doing? Saying hi to each other. We got Rolando Flores. We got our moderator in the house. He is in every chat simultaneously on YouTube. He is amazing. Who else? Gosh, we got so many people here. We got Mega Demon Collects. We got Power Rangers Dino Fury in the house. He was streaming live last night. Just hanging out. We got Astronaut Ranger saying, we got Duff Man. We got 80s Kid from the 90s. LeBron Fett, our Power Ranger photography expert, is in the house. Ooh, I can't. All right, Johnny Monetto, Ranger Restoration. You guys are awesome. We got Diane, the Master 69, Jay Vizsla. We got Pikes Peak. You know, he is an OG here at the channel. Captain Spaulding. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to call everybody out here. We got somebody on Twitch. Guys, I opened the Twitch. Why the heck not? We got Nikki, that freaky girl, just hanging out from Twitch. You're only my second person ever from Twitch. You're awesome. Thank you for being here.
Well, if you're on Twitch, maybe we need to do some Battle for the Grid or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Hey.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. If I ever figure out how to game ever again, because I don't do that anymore. But yeah.
With what time? Time?
What time? So a lot of you guys don't know. I recently became a dad, so I don't even know how I'm keeping this channel afloat right now. It's just happening. I'm not even doing it anymore. The channel's just kind of doing itself. So, guys, once and always. So I think I want to start with initial reactions with us, and then we'll kind of go deeper and break it down a little bit for everybody in the chat. I'll show you guys chat on the window. When we're breaking down, we'll definitely get into a lot of those individual comments. That way we can talk about that. But first, Dave, what was your initial reaction after watching your Once and Always the first time?
One word: pilot, as in what you might see in a reboot, because they set up so much in here. I mean, Trini's daughter, the passing of the torch, obviously. The fact that there was a lot of references to other Ranger series throughout this. And we also know that a certain person is heading back. Well, there's several people who are heading back out into space. Leading, of course, there was no trailer, there was no teaser for Cosmic Fury, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
that's
I mean,
a good point.
This all feels like new beginnings. The overall feel. The money spent in here, for a lot of the practical effects. I mean, you can see the stitching on the diamonds, on the gauntlets, on the bracelets of the uniforms, that we saw details we've never seen in Ranger suits before. So to me, that shouts between the cockpit, the Megazord, the command center, everything. It all shouts, okay, this isn't just a one-off. To me, it shouts like, okay, these are sets that they definitely can set aside and use again very soon. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing maybe one or two or even three, dare I say it, three, but I think like 2 specials a year. Not necessarily just with MMPR, but revisiting some of the other shows. I mean, it felt so much. We had Easter eggs, but I'm not going to mention them because I'm sure we're going to discuss them as we go throughout the episode. But man, this felt like like you see a lot of shows are being rebooted. Like Quantum Leap had a revival this year.
Yeah.
There's so many shows that they're trying to do revivals, and I think, and this might be hopeful, wishful thinking, but this is almost a master class in how to do a soft reboot correctly. I think it hit a lot of the good points. They were respectful with the Ranger actors that we no longer have with us.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, to me, it wasn't like it was shoving down our throats. I mean, it felt amazing. I mean, it blew me away, and it blows me away. I've seen it 4 times today, so it's like
that's awesome.
It's just, man, it hits you. It hits you. So
awesome. Love to hear it. Want to call it Juan Aguilar. Anytime I see a Guyver fan anywhere, what's up, man? Guyver is awesome. So you're cool. Teddy, what do you got? What were your first reactions after watching it today?
I specifically saved watching it until an hour before we jumped online because I wanted an instant reaction. So above all else, it kind of surpassed my expectations, but also I'm an optimist. So I kind of go in with a low bar to begin with, but 90% of what I saw showed me they took it seriously. They put way more emotion and heart into the story than I anticipated, which I'm always okay with. And it's a solid addition to the franchise lore.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do with this if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, there's so much you can spin off and jump off from this. But all in all, it's just glorious. It's a glorious feeling to see them all again, even if it's for just a brief amount of time. And it's so great. And like you said, the Easter eggs, I love the little things sprinkled in, but it's a very emotional story. They didn't have to go that hard. They didn't really have to, put us in that spot. But the fact that they were willing to do it, the fact that David Yost is willing to get into a project that's so heavy-handed with its content and the storyline going on, respect to everybody involved. It was great.
Awesome. Then Dan, what were your thoughts? I know you're just over there, you're trying to hold it together. What were your thoughts, man?
Well, first of all, I've already watched it 5 times. So that kind of gives you some, like, I'm trying to get those numbers up, dog. Like, I do this for a living. Like, we got to make sure Power Rangers is going. Okay. But on the real, my first impressions of this were Zach and Minh stole the show for me. I absolutely loved those characters. And to what Dave said, like, this definitely seemed like a teaser. I was at a panel a few months ago, and I heard that Steve Cardenas said that the sets are still up. Meaning, like, and from the way that this ended, it's definitely, in a way, could be opened up to a bunch of different possibilities. And then I was at a panel just a couple weekends ago with Johnny Young Bosch, and he said that the story's pretty much open. And if the fans get behind it, there could either be a part 2, or they've talked about a 10-episode series, but the numbers got to get ran up because he said in Netflix mind, this is a small risk. They don't know if the fans are going to get behind it, but once they released that trailer, I think that was enough, because when you looked at all the Netflix trailers at the time, like you looked, one had like 700K, one had 100K, but then Power Rangers had like 5 million. So the fans are going to run this up, and it just had to be a decent enough project, and your expectations had to be like, you had to know what this is. Okay. Like, some people thought that this is going to be a full blockbuster movie or something. Like I so many people like are complaining, it looks cheap, it looks cheesy. Like, what do you think Power Rangers is? Do you think they were balling on like $100 million budget? Like, no, it's one of those where they were balling on a budget, but they got a lot of things done, and a lot of things you can do for free when you're connecting all those dots. That's the key, is all of those callbacks and all those things. That doesn't take any money at all, just to write some cool stuff in there. And I think that's how you build it. And we see this with any movie, any series, season 1, episode 1, it doesn't have the amount of money that the next one does once we know it's a hit. So the fans go run it up. And as long as most people think it's a 7 or an 8, we can get another one because it's Netflix and they didn't put a lot of money into it.
Man, that's a lot of good points. And honestly, just watching it through, you can tell, like, so the first thing I saw on Tuesday was they released that Megazord image, right? The Megazord cockpit image. And just by looking by that image, I was like, oh my God, they're taking this way more seriously than they have in the past. And not only that, because okay, let's break away Sentai from American footage, right? So Sentai, they just relied on that footage. But look at the Thunder Megazord set, right? That they put them in a red room in front of a desk, and that was their Megazord cockpit for the American footage, right? Like here they had I know this was like 4 panels and maybe 5 with the bottom and top, but they lit it up, they cut them, they like all this detail that went into it that they would not have put in prior seasons where they would have relied on Sentai footage so much more.
I want to add to that though. Like Dan was saying about budget. Come on, it looked like they sunk more money into this than than they did in the Turbo movie. Let's be honest.
100%. 100%.
Honestly, though,
not for nothing. I mean, they threw more money into this.
Yeah.
And I will say this: the CGI was definitely better than Mighty Morphin, the movie.
The movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I have heard some people criticizing some of the CGI, but this is for like a 55-minute special. So I mean, but this was, I mean, as far as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, this was the highest quality we've ever had.
Yes.
I mean,
for the first time ever, no Sentai footage.
It was, and it was definitely, I wouldn't say that was like half a season's whole budget of what Power Rangers have been lately. So I want to say that was like either like 200, 300K that put in that hour, because Power Rangers always relied on practical effects for sure.
Yeah, but I was discussing with a couple friends today. Best acting goes to Walter.
Yeah.
I think the best acting in the episode goes to Walter. And like you said, Zach and Minh definitely stole the show. I could even see something revolving around them two. Obviously, he's the old school. He's going to be training her now.
Yeah, I mean, we got some of the hip hop keto in there, man.
Yeah, we saw he could still do the moves.
Yeah, so it's funny. Earlier, I was watching the Power playback with Kat and Nakia, and I guess Kat was saying how that Walter was all amped up when he was doing that scene when he was doing the hip hop keto, and that he was like, "Oh my God, I did the backflip," and I actually took that shot. And I went to go see if that was really him. And I was like, holy crap, that was really him. And that's why in that video that I said about that sneak peek, I was like, dude's in great shape. That's doing
why I watched it 4 times. I wanted to see
that dude is almost 50 years old.
The cutaways to see where the stunt people went in.
But Kat was all like, so next day Walter walks in, he's like, oh man, I'm sore. He had his roller, he had his ice packs and everything. But you got to give homie props for just like getting up there and doing a backflip on freaking the juice bar right there. Like he looks. Everybody, I think the number one comment I hear is that he looks so good and that he looks so healthy he looks like out of all the Rangers
compared to everyone else. I mean, respectfully, David looks the oldest.
So I think the easiest, we'll try to break down the beginning to end. We'll start from the beginning to end. But before we do that, I promise you guys a giveaway for just being here in the chat. So the first one we're going to get, it's a little thing. It's not a big deal, but a lot of people have always complained they can never find these. And these are the little pretend Lego Power Ranger sets. I found a Red Ranger with the battle bike. I will tell you now, these are very frustrating. So when you put this together, put it together and then super glue it, and then that you'll be good right that. Okay. Because this thing will fall apart easily, but it's really cool to have. It's the only sort of Lego versions that we have right now. If you guys want this, just put in the chat. Oh, by the way, United States only. This is coming out of my pocket, guys. So I really appreciate if you guys would be United States only. If you want that, put in the chat. Hashtag Jason. Put in the chat, and in a couple of minutes, we'll pull those and we'll pick a winner real quick. But hashtag Jason if you guys want this in the chat. I want to start at the beginning. So the beginning surprised me a lot. So we'll start at the title card screen. which was really cool because it was like, all right, my worry for this special was like, would they ignore a lot of the continuity that's happened since Mighty Morphin? And right off the bat, they're like, no, we're not going to do that. But first scene, Billy on the floor, on the ground, heavy breathing. He's down. Like when I started watching, I was like, oh, this is where we're starting. Like this is bad. Like
felt like a Marvel movie, like straight into the action, bro.
But cold open, yeah.
I definitely got flashbacks.
There's a lot of Marvel-esque stuff in this.
But I definitely got flashbacks from the 2017 movie when Zordon was crawling through the wasteland, or I guess it was Earth, but crawling through Earth on the battlefield. It really reminded me of that. So we see Billy there on the ground. He's already bruised. He's already battered, and we already see Robo Rita right there. Like Robo Rita is already here at the first 10 seconds of the special. She is already here. What were your guys' thoughts of when just it's starting like that? We'll start with you, Ted.
Cold open. I love it. It's setting the tone. It's setting a very specific sort of feeling for the audience, because we're meant to feel a little bit of confusion, a lot of questions. Especially me, I'm like, wait a minute, we need information, and so that's a really good thing that we're already so invested in what's happening on the screen. It's actually really smart storytelling that way. And then it's actually a pretty solid payoff when you then realize 3/4 of the way through this thing why she's back. The why or how she came back was a big payoff in my opinion. And again, solid storytelling, very sort of heavy ideas, very emotional. So I don't want to get too specific. You guys all watched it. But yeah,
let's just say this now, guys. We're gonna be spoiler heavy, guys. Like this is all. If you guys have not watched it and you do not want spoilers, we're gonna be doing spoilers all night. Yeah. So I understand if you want to click off and watch this maybe later on. I totally understand, but I want to break this down. I actually wanted to. I know, Dan. I know you did a spoiler-free video. I didn't know how to do one because
I did a whole spoiler one though too.
I didn't know how to do one. I was like, there's no way. It was really good, guys. Like that was all I was gonna say. Like it was like 20-second long video.
And that's pretty much all I said. I just kept saying it's really good. I like I talked about the characters. And but yeah, you got to go on that line a little bit, you know.
Yes. But so Billy comes in and he goes, "It's morphin' time," or she goes, "What do you have to say?" And he goes, "It's morphin' time." He morphs and he does a really good morph. It's kind of like a reminiscent of how the Dino Fury and Beast Morphers have been lately, like not necessarily doing a whole like, you know, but he morphs and then we get that freaking everybody comes in and we get the running title card. Dan, what were you thinking when you saw that?
Let's go. Like that was because I just from that whole beginning and then it leads up to that, it gets you really invested in the show. And a lot of the fans already knew that Ron Wasserman was coming back. So just to hear his voice with like a remastered cut of the MMPR song, it was dope because like, I guess a lot of the fans don't like the newer songs having go-go, but I like the original. Give me the OG with the guy that sings
he had a little bit more drum in that too.
Yeah, like I might be getting sick of the Blink 182 cover bands that come to my town, but if Blink 182 came here, I would go. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those where like I definitely will always support the legend. And yeah, that beginning was so dope. And then it got straight to the action, like you said. And then right after the music stops, that's when things get even crazier, man.
Yeah, it's definitely I want to call out Duffman. Giving my first super chat. I really appreciate you, man. That's the first time I've ever gotten it. That's so awesome, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You're awesome, dude.
Now you got to make a special animation or some kind of like little action clip to play when you go super chats.
Dave, I need you to make a super animation for me. Real quick, just want to remind you guys, if you guys wanted this, United States only, #Jason. Thank you for being here in the chat. Still got a couple more we're going to go through. #Jason, just a reminder, about to pick the winner here in a second. So we get past the boom, we got once and always, we got the Rangers coming in. One thing I noticed, it's blue, pink, red, green, yellow, black. So that's I remember thinking that across. I was like, I really thought blue and black was gonna be the center of everything. And I thought it was really cool. They still got red and green in the middle because obviously, red and green is definitely a lot of people's favorites for sure. So one thing I noticed right when we start the action was we got, I don't know if they are using old audio or voice actors, but Trini's look sounded pretty spot on, like her Kia's. Okay, Jason's was a little, that was a voice actor, we could tell. Yeah. Kimberly, I couldn't tell.
No, it sounded a lot like Amy Jo's like pre-recorded voice from the original series. It
could have been. Now I'll say that her pink morpher, a lot of you guys, if you did get it, there's a person on there saying pterodactyl, and it sounds exactly like Kimberly, but it's not her. No. So I'm thinking they may have gotten the same voice actor. So we kind of got the ideas of what they were going to do. And Tommy, you kind of got I think they used old audio on that one because it's
for the most part. Some of his sounded a little.
It was muffled. It was muffled, right?
Yeah. So there was like one or two that sounded off. I was wondering if maybe his stunt person might have just tried to mimic.
I don't know. I think it's really hard to mimic Tommy. I think the only one that can mimic it is actually Bruno from MMPR Toys. He's the only person I know that can mimic Siaya's perfect.
He worked on a couple of the seasons, so
yeah, for sure. And
shout out Bruno.
But yes, Dave, what were you thinking? That first fight scene, we got the putties back in action. We got the Rangers fighting. What were you thinking?
These putties. I mean, they didn't sound like the goofy ones like we've had in the past. The clunky ones. I mean, these were they're a little bit more tight formation with fighting. I love the brick crumbling, the little rock crumbles we would get after they're destroyed. But the fighting, I thought this was great. This was top notch. I mean, I'd hate to say this. This is some of the better fighting than we might have seen through most of MMPR's era, for the most part. But I mean, the fighting was just it was spot on. I mean, I just like I was getting the tingles, man. I was just like, it took me back because I mean, 93. I was a freshman in high school in 93, so I was like, that took me back to being a teenager again, man.
Yeah, and I think this was a lot better choreographed than we have seen priors. And what we saw in the last, Mighty Morphin episodes, where a lot of it were filmed here in America, those fight scenes were very quick. Like they weren't longer than maybe 20-30 seconds, and then that was it. I felt like we got a good minute or two here. I'm really trying to catch up with the chat here. I'm not happening. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the giveaway here and put hashtag Jason. And then I'm going to share our screen. That way we can pick our first winner for the night. We got, and guys, I forgot to tell you beforehand, but if any of you got a dip, just let me know. And obviously this might take longer than obviously I thought. So
he's only got 53 names on the wheel. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay. So we got hashtag Jason right here. Is this showing up, guys? I can't see. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. I'll start collecting comments. Hashtag Jason. We got 22 entries, and we're going to draw. And who is our winner?
Ooh, let's go.
Shuffle up a deal.
Nick Tillett is the winner. Nick, if you can message me on Instagram or you can email me at thelegacyofnerd@gmail.com. As long as you're United States, you're good, man. And just send me the name you want me to ship it from with, and then your address, and I'll get you got the Red Ranger here, man. So congratulations.
Congrats, bro.
Nick Tillett. Just make sure to message me on Instagram.
Congrats.
So now the scene that happens. We got Rita talking, and she is saying that she's going to get ready to use her own. It almost sounded like she was saying to say her own life energy to destroy Billy. We got Trini doing her always taking care of Billy moment, and getting in front of the blast and sacrificing herself. Now, guys, I'll tell you right now what I was most surprised about is, there was nothing left. That was kind of crazy. I didn't expect that. So we'll start with Dan this time. What did you think when you saw that scene play out?
So I thought it was nuts. I thought like the whole spinning thing was a tad weird, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
did anybody else feel that way? I don't know, but I think it actually played out to have her disappear since it is technically a family show. You didn't want to see like a decapitated Trini or something. Like, it probably made the most sense to just have her just be no more. And it was also really emotional because like some fans were up in the air, like, how are you going to do that? But you know what? Honestly, Trini and Twee Trang are two different people, right? I know some fans were going crazy, like, how could you do this? Like at least they wrote it off in a good way, and her legacy as a character is going to live on in this new character. And basically this whole special was about Trini, which was freaking awesome. So for fans complaining, like, it's okay, guys. I mean, everyone always finds something to get mad about, but I thought it was respectful to Twee Trang's legacy.
That's awesome. Then we jump forward a little bit. You know, Trini is gone, unfortunately. You know, Billy and Zach take off their helmets and they go to the cliffside. You know, they're upset. Then we cut to they're at Trini's house, which is a Quan residence, and we see a very big acting moments between Billy and Zach, David Yost and Walter Jones, more than we have seen in any Power Rangers episode ever, talking about whether they should even tell Minh about what happened to Trini, how, whether she's even dead, how she died. Like, they were like dead, die, kill, like saying a bunch of words we're not familiar with in Power Rangers. Very, very different scene that we're used to seeing in Power Rangers. And then Minh obviously walks in and hears them. Ted, what were your thoughts when you saw that?
Again, great writing, kind of this reveal, just the ideas they're working. Again, really heavy content. You know, it totally unexpected, but kind of like how you mentioned, uh, I total respect of the character. Not to, I mean, last year or the year before, we watched. Sorry to skip around, but we had a Ghostbusters movie that did something similar. It brought back a character in the movie, killed him off, but the rest of the movie is almost like a love letter to his legacy, referring to Egon Spengler. If you haven't seen it, and so this sort of kind of pulled from a lot of that same thing. Not saying that it's one for one or anything, but there's a very respectful way to kind of go about this, and it can go very wrong very easily in a lot of ways. But no, I really like the way they did it, and Walter fell right back into his character more than anybody else. It's just like yesterday he was, you know, portraying Zach. Yost, I felt like didn't fall all the way back into there, but maybe that's because we find out later, you know, he's battling his own demons, and that might be just part of his character progression. So there might be more to it that, you know, we're meant to understand later on.
Awesome. And then, you know, what I didn't expect was going a year later. And I want to go back a little because Rita automatically said she's going to the dark dimension, and they addressed that the others were looking for her in the dark dimension, and they're waiting on the word. And then we skip to a year later. Like, we don't even get quick resolution. Power Rangers battles happen in one day and they're done. Like, and then we assume maybe it's the next day or a couple of weeks later something else is going on, but usually they solve their problems pretty quickly. We don't get their problems solved within a whole year, at least not until maybe RPM. But so, you know, Dave, we start with Minh obviously training, going through her Bruce Wayne moment, and it appears that she's been training for a while now, because that high kick and just holding it was insane.
I mean, well, definitely showing that she is Trini's daughter, obviously.
Yeah. What were your thoughts of Min's introduction and her character arc as far as the beginning goes?
Seeing Minh, obviously she's been training, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Zach wanted to kind of prepare her. Maybe he's training her a little bit, or maybe some of the other Rangers have. And of course, we find out that it's no longer the Quan residence; it's the Quan in You know,
Taylor.
it's yeah.
Taylor,
So
yeah.
I mean, Zach is the guardian. He's moved in and he's taking care of her. He's playing the father figure, and also we found out that Zach did pretty damn well for himself. He was a congressman, but also he gave up being a congressman so he could be a surrogate father and guardian for Minh. I mean, that says what the bond of the Rangers are. They really are a family. They will give up everything.
I do have to say, I feel Zach was very much on the team. Like, Minh, you are not getting involved in this.
No,
like I will give you information.
He was being a father to her.
Yeah, he's definitely that. And they keep on mentioning that he is former Congressman Zach now.
Yeah,
a year later, because he had been congressman.
So obviously the Teen Summit, the International Teen Summit, actually led him onto a much stronger path right there. So I mean, but I mean, like he was like, no, this is Ranger business. This is like, he is so protective of her. Like no one else is like, like he's like, no, he's treating her like that is his daughter.
Yeah.
And you're talking about things in this show, in this special, we've never seen before. Okay. We found out that there's never been a father in the picture, by the way, for Minh. They mentioned how it's always been just Trini and Minh. We never we don't know where the father is or who the father might have been or anything like that. Do we really need to know? Probably not.
Yeah.
But the fact that and also we have this potential. Obviously she's a potential Ranger. She wants revenge.
Yeah, she's very revenge focused. Yes.
Zach is like, no, and he all throughout this special, kind of spoilers, he is telling her, listen, this is this is Ranger business. We want to keep you out of it, because he can see that she just wants revenge.
Yeah.
She has pain. But going back, kind of pedaling back to that scene between Billy and Zach, how they're discussing Zach's like, well, she can't know we're Rangers. And Billy, those are Zordon's rules. And Billy's like, the rules can be broken for the right reasons. I mean, he's flexible now. And I think that goes back to, you're saying that David Yost didn't fall back into Billy. I think he fell back into Billy, but I think Billy went through a much harder life. Okay.
Well,
and
I think he's a lot more experienced than the other Rangers. He's had a lot more happen to him.
I mean, obviously he went to Equitar all those years after Zeo, right?
Yeah.
He went through that thing where he was leading the team when the others were just kids. He gave up his powers willingly.
Yep.
He had a chance to come back, but the negative energy. So I mean, he's had a lot of frustrations, and he stayed on Equitar, and obviously he returned to Earth at some point to make his own company.
Yep.
I'll say this, like we were talking kind of Marvel. He's basically Tony Stark.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely the fill-in for there.
Yeah, I mean, he's Stark, but also, you get the feeling for this special, he's the leader. It's there's like no discussion. Well, so and so's not here, so who's going to be leading? There's no question about it. Billy's the one. He's the one in charge. There's no doubt about it. But it's just like everything was just like the whole dynamic between Minh and Zach. That just it tugs on your strings.
Yeah.
He's trying to get her to, okay, it's been a year, we're going to the cemetery, and it's just like there's all these things, but we see this scene where Zach is holding Trini's morpher before he puts it back in the box. There's a shrine of pictures, and it just they weren't just friends, they really were family.
Yes.
But it also makes me and this is just a weird psychotic person back in my head. Like, it also makes you wonder, did Trini and Zach have an almost relationship and maybe not? Like something that might have been there but wasn't there. Because I mean, for Zach to be the one to really step in, anyone could have really stepped in. Jason could have, Tommy. I mean, anyone could have really stepped in, but it was Zach who stepped in.
Yeah, and
but
that might. I think that's also the limitations of your writing, also of what you have available for you at that time. So it'll make more sense to be. If it's gonna be Zach or Billy, that's gonna be Zach. Billy is.
Well, see, I would have thought it might have been Billy because Billy and Trini were closest. They were the two brains.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
but
they were the two brains.
But who feels responsible for everything?
Yes.
That's too much for him to
imagine just looking at her every day. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, so but before we get to the next scene, we're gonna do another one. So we got a Green Ranger one, guys. So
hey,
I know everybody was looking for this one. I actually had to dig to the back of the shelf to see if it existed in this store. So if you guys want this one, United States only, #Tommy, put it in the chat, and we'll pull those in a second after we talk about the next thing. So if you guys want this, United States only, #Tommy, put it in the chat, and we'll pull that in a second. Now, Dan, we got the introduction of Minh. We got her cool martial arts scene. Her, Zach is like, I got the flowers, don't worry. And they're heading up to, and then, we hear them walking, and we hear Dragon Zord. We hear pterodactyl, triceratops, and tyrannosaurus. All definitely sound old audio for sure, because you cannot mistake that Dragon Zord at all. Dan, what were you thinking with the morph scene and Rita basically ambushing them at a freaking gravesite?
First of all, I love how they're able to kind of somehow connect the actors that aren't there with the show, like even just these small little things to just make it make sense. Because if you leave these things out, then the fans are like, well, how are they even there? But honestly, I like what they did with that. And then we got right to the action again. It seemed like this show, the people that were writing this were fans and have seen the last few movies and the last few things that hey, all we got to do is give the fans a giant episode of Power Rangers and make it entertaining the whole time. And that's what they did. And when they got to the cemetery and Rita's back, you're like, okay, this is interesting now, because when we saw the 2017 movie, it started off so great, right? With that first scene. And then the rest of it was so boring for a long time until we got to the fight scene. So like I'm not saying I thought that, but after that first scene, it was like, okay, this is going to be tough to top. They were topping it as they went the whole time. I loved it. And that whole scene in the serum, what's it called? At the funeral home or whatever it's called. Cemetery, dude. I almost called it a crematory, and I was just, okay. At the cemetery.
Crematorium, that's something different.
Yeah.
Kind of dumb though, guys. Cemetery. That was amazing, especially since we got to figure out the monster's powers. Like Snizzard basically captured them, but then we had the Manitor that could detect them if they morph. So I thought that was kind of cool that the monsters actually had a purpose to be there. Sometimes, that they'll just throw guys in there for no reason. Like, oh, let's bring back Goldar. Let's bring back this guy. Like, this actually made sense to bring back these two.
Yeah. I thought it was a very good choice and very good. They look great. Like the Robo versions look great. They said those were made by Toy, the suits. So those are basically Sentai suits. They just never been in Sentai. They're made specifically for this.
We need those figures.
We do need those figures. I agree. Let me see. Oh man, I had all these pictures ready and I haven't even been showing pictures. But yes, I thought it was a really good choice of the monsters as well. I think it worked really well for what they needed. And Snizzard seems to be obviously the much more sort of important monster in this one, but Minotaur definitely served his role, and we'll talk about that in a second. Real quick, before I pull a winner, you guys want a chance at this United States only, #Tommy. Just put it in the chat. I'll pull a winner here in a second. Ted, what did you think about a Gravesite battle?
Really interesting. You don't really understand why they go a year into the storyline. But it all is about the little details of this special. It gives Min enough time to sort of be in her feels and train with Zach and really show her character arc. And the fact that the morpher doesn't work for her until she's actually able to grow in with her emotions and do something selfless for the others and stuff like that. These are all great components of the story. Somebody spent a lot of time like really thinking things through and not just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. So everything works, whether it's a little bit or a lot. Everything works. The villains work. They're formidable. The photos that we got with the Rangers just covered in these metallic ropes as miniature versions of themselves. I'm like, that looks kind of cheesy, but when you realize they're these robotic snakes and they're moving like every time you see them strapped up, I'm like, oh my god, this is great. All these little details, everything they're putting in here is working for me.
It all serves a purpose, and that's what he's talking about.
It all
those are snakes right there that are covering them. So we get Kimberly, Tommy, and Jason immediately trapped. Billy and Zach are like, oh crap, this isn't working. We get the reintroduction of the rad bug, which awesome. They get away and they go back to, I guess, Trini, Zach's house and are talking about what do we need to do. They're captured and they're like, obviously we get Minh come in and says she killed mom and you need to let me go help you guys take care of it. And they're like, no, you're a kid, you should be doing your homework, you shouldn't be worrying about saving the world or worried about the person that killed your mom. You should just forget all about that right now and let us handle it. And they head back to the command center, which I think a lot of us thought a lot of the budget was in the command center.
Yes.
Because it looks great. We've already seen a lot of comments saying that it looks very similar to Star Trek. In this stream itself, Dan, what did you think about that scene and the reintroduction of the command center?
I just wanted to say one thing that we kind of skipped right before this. Min was snapping on Billy, bro.
Yes,
Min
you know what? You're right. We need to go.
Yes. She's like, you're the reason why my mom is dead. Like,
yes,
bro, that was insane. But I just had to talk about that for 2 seconds.
No, and we need to talk about that because there's a lot of anger there. And she basically tells Billy, you're the reason my mom is dead. This is all your fault. And then Billy, even David Yost, like it looked like I thought like the dude was gonna cry. Like not Billy. I thought David Yost was gonna cry.
Yeah,
because that was harsh, man. Like okay, and I almost wonder if he did channel like oh my friend's dead. Is Twee is gone. And it seemed like a really harsh moment. What did you think about that, Dan? And then the reintroduction of the command center.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was something that needed to be like. You got to give these characters some depth. And that was something that kind of you had to build up because there was someone that you had to blame. And like when you find out why Billy did what he did, it makes more sense. But Min didn't know. She didn't know what bro was doing. Like all I know is my mom's dead and it's your fault because you were messing around with things, So it's very interesting. And then when they get to that command center, it looked really cool. And I liked all the different things that Alpha was able to do. And I loved that we got an explanation to Alpha 9, because I know a few weeks ago we found out that the Alpha iteration was Alpha 9. And so many people were like, but what happened to the other Alphas? So I love the command center. I thought it was really cool.
And we'll talk about that flashback in a second because I know Dave has comments for that. For sure. But we will do our Tommy battle bike giveaway. I actually have one of these and I've never ever taken it out of the box because I built the other three and I was like, I need a break. And I just never did. So you guys put hashtag Tommy in the screen. I'm going to pull up the screen right now for transparency purposes. I know English. I promise I do. Transparency. Okay. So we'll get to, hopefully it's pulling up because I can't see it when you guys, is it showing up for you guys?
No.
It's wanting to. There.
There you
Wrong screen.
Oh, I put in the whole thing. Okay, let me see. Yeah, this thing's like super mad at me right now.
Yo, so we got battle bikes, shark cycles, and thunder cycles, huh?
Dude, oh man, we need thunder cycles. That'd be sweet. Okay, it should be coming up now. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties and too much. When you guys see the giveaway wheel, you'll understand why my computer is being so slow. Okay, hashtag Tommy here. We're going to pull, start collecting comments. We got 21 entries, and we're going to draw. And
Shuffle up
our
and deal.
winner is going to be...
Drum roll, please.
Oh, Patricia Shepard Palacios. Awesome. Patricia,
Congrats.
you are the winner of this, my friend. Please message me on Instagram, Facebook, or you can email me at thelegacyofnerd@gmail.com and just message me the name you want me to ship it with, and then your address, please. United States only. Congratulations. Okay, so we get to the flashback scene, which basically is what we should have gotten in the first minute, but the way they started off with, they wanted to give us action right there at the beginning, is we get Zordon, or we get Billy talking about the Z-Wave. So he's talking about something that has happened outside of Mighty Morphin. If you guys don't know, in space, apparently I got in trouble for spoilers. Zordon did die. I'm so sorry, guys. He died like 25 years ago. Jeez. I'm
too soon.
Dude, I put a video about it.
Band-Aid off.
Spoiled the whole series for me, man.
It's like, great.
Dude, legit, people got mad at me. They're like, Zordon died? And I was like, man, like, it was a while back.
Be mad at yourself, bro, for not knowing that. Like,
okay.
And Jack sank in Titanic. I'm sorry.
And then Billy with Alpha 8 is making... basically trying to pull all the particles of Zordon back into the tube, and we instead get our villain. Dave, what was your thoughts about that whole thing?
Okay, first, like, okay, they're talking like, okay, you know, that Billy's tracking. And but by the way, before we even do that, all I'm going to say about this special is 2 words. 2 words were the key to success. No filler. That's all I'm saying. There was no filler. It was nonstop action. Now, the fact that we get this kind of flashback, I think it makes perfect sense. They sprinkled it in front of us in the opening scene, and then we get the flashback as to what happens. The fact that Billy is trying to find a way to reconstitute Zordon is mind blowing. I know there's certain fans out there, instance, who did not want a Zordon back, you know, to undo.
It was me.
It was to basically, you know, to prevent Tony Stark from snapping Thanos away. That's basically that. You know, I get that completely. But
let me interject. And the reason I've said this before, and I know we have a lot of people new here, but I didn't want Zordon to be just put back into the equation because I felt his sacrifice was so important. So I didn't want his sacrifice to be negated. Sort of like, I don't know, Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader and Anakin's sacrifice meaning nothing because Emperor Palpatine just came back anyways.
Well,
so I just wanted Zordon.
Emperor came back?
Dude,
what?
Oh my god.
Spoiled it, bro.
God,
come on.
Again, God. Oh my god.
Have y'all guys seen the show? There was a red wedding in it, and it was pretty crazy. Just letting you know.
Spoil all the shows, all the movies.
Bruce Willis, he was dead the whole time. That too. So I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
He chose violence today.
Dave, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Come on, dude.
But as far as the Zordon thing, I do have an idea on how they could bring it back, but still respect the whole legacy. But that's something at a different time. The fact that Billy's trying to reconstitute, but then when we see, it looks like he's like, Zordon, are you there? And then suddenly the blue turns to purple, and we get this weird crack in essence that comes out. It's negative, it's evil, and it's Rita. Rita's essence takes over Alpha 8. transforms Alpha 8 into Robo Rita, and it's that moment when you realize not only is Billy now responsible for Trini's death, he's really responsible for her death, because if he hadn't tried to bring back Zordon, Robo Rita wouldn't have appeared, and all this chaos and insanity wouldn't have manifested. So very much like I've been comparing Billy to Tony Stark, this is Ultron.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
It's shades of Marvel everywhere. But now, not only has Billy, been trying to, bring back Zordon, and now he creates this monster, and this monster winds up killing his best friend because his best friend was trying to protect him. So now Billy has so much guilt. I mean, guilt that probably would have driven a Ranger away from the life.
I think Pike has that's something to be considered here, saying that I wonder if Rita's essence was tricking Billy into thinking she was Zordon the entire time. Which I think that would have been a cool line to have for sure.
That, or what if Billy makes other attempts to bring back Zordon, but other villains come back, villains that we thought were gone forever.
I was thinking.
Okay, like now here now just hear me out, guys. What if, okay, we see Robo Rita, but what if other evils also escapes from that little burst, but we just didn't see them manifest?
That'd be sweet.
I mean, for all we know, there, obviously, if her particles and all the other villains who were cleared, including Zed, could we get Robo Zed?
Well, I mean, Zed's already back, right?
Yeah, that's probably where Zed's particles probably came from or something. And thinking about it, she did explain, I thought, that not only were Zordon's particles out there, but all
the other villains,
basically every one of the Z waves. So they just opened the door just to crack
Pandora's box.
We could see some people come back later on. I love it.
Oh yeah,
that'd be awesome. And I don't know if you guys ever read Infinite Crisis for DC Comics, but there was a point in it where Superboy Prime punched the multiverse apart, basically, and caused all these things to happen. But we didn't realize he did it until like 10 issues later in the comic series. So this could be a situation where we're hearing about Billy is causing all this issues. Maybe he's causing. Everybody thought like after the Z Wave, like Power Rangers was done, we shouldn't be having any more evil. But maybe these issues that Billy's been having, like trying to bring back Zordon, why we've gotten Trakina, why we've gotten Snide, what is the reason that we continue to have villains going from Lost Galaxy to Dino Fury?
Space and time.
Which would be insane.
Have stuff that's echoing. I mean, the whole thing with Billy, I mean, like the best intentions, again, Tony Stark, he built all those androids, his Iron Legion, to try to put a shield around Earth to try and make things better. Sometimes the best intentions, I mean, we could see repercussions for years to come. I know this is going to be discussed later on, but we hear how Billy mentions about adventures going back into space. He even he name drops Miranoi, which is the planet from Lost Galaxy. So obviously
we'll talk about that because I know you guys want to talk about SPA because that has a lot of implications as well. So we get them the command center and we get Bandora Protocol, which is really cool. I don't think I pulled up a picture of that. I'm dumb. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, so we get Bandora Protocol. We get some teasers for Reefside, Turtle Cove, Astro Mega Ship. There was one other one. Was there Battle Grid Force?
No, I didn't see Battle Grid, but they made there's even one for a city in Japan.
Terra Venture. It was Terra Venture too.
No, Terra Venture was like Osaka.
So I've never seen that. Yeah,
so
and that confused me.
Could that be a reference to some Sentai?
I also had a question for the chat.
Gotta be.
So I want to go back a little bit. At the gravesite when Minotaur was introduced, he knocked over this guy named Harvey's gravestone. Is that an Easter egg for anything? It was like Harvey Garvey or something like that. It was something sort of a strange name, but they were made a good point to show the name of the headstone. And I want to know if anybody knows what that means because I couldn't find anything on it. So we get the reintroduction of Rocky and Kat and the proxy coins. Ted, what were you thinking about reusing Rocky and Kat to bring them in as our second, I guess, B team?
It makes a lot. It makes a lot of sense, and also it's great to see those characters in the Megazord because, as far as I know, I'm not sure about comics or anything, but they've actually never driven the Megazord, right? They never had that opportunity. So it makes a lot of sense. They're part of the second group, the second unit, and it gives us the fans a lot of new things to appreciate like that. And they're just, they're fantastic. I also love that they continue Tommy's story with Catherine, and they also gave him a son, which I believe is part of the comic series, right, JJ?
So that is actually both comic series and TV.
He's canon in TV.
Yeah, so they did mention JJ, which is Jason Jr., we're all assuming. But JJ is now, I guess, middle school age. They're kind of, he was in karate class, is what they said.
Karate camp. It was
okay.
karate camp. That's what she had mentioned.
Which my thought was like, I guess she knew that Tommy was going to be at the gravesite, so the party didn't think anything was wrong. And so who was watching JJ? I just want to know who's watching JJ. Is he just chilling there at karate camp?
I want to chime in. Okay, Kat and Tommy are husband and wife, obviously. How does she feel about Tommy working with his ex, though?
Good question. Well, she even drops, like, now that you say that, because she's like, we got to save Tommy and the rest of them. Like,
I mean, think about that. Like that's like, yeah, she was like your big love in high school. You're like, I did replace her in many ways. I mean, it's that was just like one kind of funny thing back in my head. Like, how would my wife feel if I was working with my ex?
I'm team Kimberly left Tommy for Jason because I think it's very strange that they showed up together in Turbo. Like,
we discussed that before.
On the beach.
They were in scuba gear together.
They were in wetsuits.
So real quick, before we do the next giveaway, the last if you're here giveaway, then we'll get to the two big giveaways. But I actually got another one. So I promise there's two of them here.
Another one.
I got another one. If you want a chance at this one, United States only, just put #green. #green in the chat, United States only, and then you will get a shot. What are you showing me, Ted?
Harvey Garvey.
Let me see this. So they said in the chat it was the second season.
Isn't that what's his name from Big Bad Beetleborgs?
That's Flabber.
Flabber.
Is
that what came up? I wonder if it's the same actor.
I was looking on Twitter, and that picture came up, so I thought I'd throw it out there.
Either that or that's a swollen Jay Leno.
They definitely
so LeBron Fett, it was actually said it was the second season talk show host, which I think is really messed up that they just killed a random talk show host.
Okay, well, speaking of talk shows, the video feed that Minh is watching later on is that whatchamacallit from Dino Fury? Was it something Blast media
It's Annie from Buzz Blast as the reporter.
Yeah.
So because remember they said at the end of Cosmic Fury or end of Dino Fury.
Dino Fury.
Oh, we're going to be expanding to Angel Grove.
Yeah.
But that was like, I'm like, okay. So we had lead-ins kind of there.
Love it.
Okay. So I think we skipped Ted's part a little bit. So we get the reintroduction of Kat and Rocky to the team, which he is happy about because they've never actually had the pterodactyl. Well, Rocky had the Tyrannosaurus power, but he never actually piloted Tyrannosaurus. He got Red Dragon. Then we get what I guess. Oh, they morph. So we get the classic morph scene. We get the updated. I don't have a version. Well, I have Ming's version of what it looks like now, which is the legacy morpher, which is strange that they're using the legacy morpher. I don't know. Okay. So they go off to battle and they go battle these guys. We get some really cool scenes here. Dan, what were you thinking about these fight scenes in they're saving people in the looks like a business district or something?
Dude, I loved those, and I liked all the stupid one-liners they had. Like when what did Kat say? Something about you putties all sound the same, like
crazy
angry
turkeys
or something. Like That was cool. Like, that made me laugh. Like, I love those one-liners. Then what did Rocky say? Like, oh, let's roast him or something. Like, I love those fights. It was fun. It's cheesy, but it's Power Rangers. Like, that's kind of the way we like it. And then you show that sign right there. I loved how for like 2 seconds we saw a Bulk and Skull sign, and then people just like ran right through it. It was hilarious. So yes, it was great. There was a lot of action, but it felt like everything was connected in a way. So sometimes in some of these shows, like, they just do things but they don't really make sense. But everything in this show was kind of lined up, which I liked.
And for us YouTubers, we got new high-res pictures of the Mighty Morphin, which is really, really hard to find if you're a YouTuber and you want to put a Mighty Morphin Ranger on your thumbnail. So yes. I'm loving all these new pictures and photos of Mighty Morphin because they look great. So they get there. They realize they're trying to catch him because they want to power the thing. Actually need help after this. They realized that Minotaur was tracking them because they're morphed, right?
Yeah.
Look how
Rocky has his
look, though.
Rocky has his Andrew Garfield moment with Spider-Man swooping in, saving the lady falling off the building, which I thought was really sweet. Rocky had some really good moments here. I have to say, cool. He kind of shined in this one for sure. As you know, they wrote him some good parts. So I think they recollect themselves. They go back to the command center, and then we get the reintroduction of Aisha and Adam. Ted, what are you thinking about SPA? And they bring up Minoy, and they brought up another one I can't remember.
Because they're in the was a Sirius Galaxy where the where Doggy Kruger's from, because they make mention of the Truvian armies.
Truvian, that's it.
Truvian Empire.
So Teddy, what were you thinking about that?
A lot of details for just a one-off Netflix special. Like, you're really giving us a lot to take in and to take away from this, especially the end with talking about Billy going off again and going on his adventures and things like that. Real quick though, I have to just make this mention. One of my favorite moments was just seeing that sign of Bulk and Skull, because Paul and Jason, those characters have been in more episodes than most of the Rangers, seasons, except for maybe except for David Yost. But it wouldn't be a reunion special, wouldn't be a 30th anniversary without giving them one spotlight to shine. I mean, they've been a part of this franchise, just about more than anybody else. So that actually made me smile. Probably one of the largest is seeing that reference there.
And that picture looks like them from either Zeo or Turbo, like when they were cops.
That looks like they took selfies like a week ago. And
really,
it's definitely them now, or though they're definitely older. You could tell, but I see what you're talking about when they were cops. Like,
because they were like very clean shaven and everything. Yes. So
real quick, last call, #green if you want this, United States only.
And get that one, guys. Let's go.
Get it.
So they figure out we get the Invisible Rangers for a second here. We get Phantom Ranger went invisible. Billy has that tech.
Bro. He's why do I need to invent it? I stole it from all these years ago.
Yeah, but the Phantom Ranger was caught. So, like, is this?
Yeah.
So, but Phantom was Turbo. Really Phantom was Turbo, and Billy wasn't around then.
I know, and everyone thought there was like all these conspiracies that it was Billy, because the Phantom Ranger was the weirdest Ranger, because he showed up, helped the Rangers, and said, "Bye, I'm leaving." Yeah. Like, there was no like actual like, "Hey, this is who I am. This is why I'm leaving." They never brought him back, except for like in space. I think you maybe saw him fight twice in the big battle or something, but there was.
But he also had wires and circuits sticking out, so either he's a android or a cyborg.
So a writer came back a couple of years ago, or came out a couple of years ago, and said one of their ideas was to bring Billy back as the Phantom Ranger. And that was one of the reasons he kept on going off, because he was creating the turbo powers, but he was reinventing a way for him to become a Ranger as well. So that was apparently an idea that they were going to have for Phantom Ranger, but it didn't play out. Phantom Ranger is just Phantom Ranger. That's who he is. So kind of like the original Magnet Defender is just Magnet Defender. That's who he is.
I like Blue Centaurian. I got you.
So we get they're trying to figure out how to outsmart the monsters. They get a big magnet, Breaking Bad style.
Loved it. Or RoboCop 2. Was it RoboCop 2?
Yep, RoboCop 2. They use a heavy magnet. Yep.
Wow. They RoboCop 2, and then they decide they're just going to go to space and take care of it themselves. So I don't know if I'm missing a point here.
We've never really seen that before, really. The only time we had like a preemptive attack was kind of like Jason when he tried to go to the dark dimension to get Tommy's candle.
So, yeah.
That's like the only time we really had Rangers like, you know what? Let's take the fight to them.
Which is funny because I don't know if you guys have watched Jew Ranger, but that's how Jew Ranger ends. They storm the castle. And that's how. So this is weird because they kind of basically like, we're just going to go take care of it ourselves. I'm going to do this real quick. # green. We're going to pick a winner real quick. That way we can get to the last two and talk about the climax of the show, which was kind of crazy. Or actually, we get the juice bar moment. We'll talk about that. We got 16 entries for # green, and our winner is going to be.
We have a couple of juice bar moments.
Doorknob. Andrew Lubar. Awesome, my friend. So make sure to just message me on either Instagram, Facebook, or you can email me at thelegacyofnerd at gmail.com. As long as you're United States only, just send me your address and then the name you would like me to send it or ship it to. So we get that. Well, let's talk about the juice bar moment because we want to talk about how amazing shape Walter Jones and is just amazing. So who wants to talk? Who wants to talk about that the most? Let's see.
I'll go.
All right, kill it, Dave. Kill it.
Hip hop keto. What can we say? I mean, like first you get Minh, who's trying to be a ranger, trying to help people out. Like, oh, everyone clear out. I got this, which she really doesn't. She gets overtaken, and we can see Zach is checking security cameras back at the command center. No one else is checking security cameras, but Zach is, which I thought was a little weird. But it was like, okay, Zach is being the father. He wants to see if Minh is in trouble. She is. So him and Rocky teleport there. And of course, they're like, they drop a line, something like, oh, nobody messes with this place or something to that extent.
Messing with this place is a bad idea.
Yeah. And then they just start going at it. And then like Minh is like, just like taken back when she sees Zach. Not only is he fighting, but then he's breaks into his hip hop keto, which he's still got the moves, and he did a lot of those own stunts. I mean, like Daniel, you were saying he did the backflip.
That was
that was really Walter Jones or Walter Jones doing that. So it's like he was killing it, and like she was like, wait a minute, is he breakdance fighting? Yeah, who else? I mean, come on. Yeah. I mean, for him to be able to do that 30 years later, come on, that's nothing but respect.
I actually got the face pretty good here. I got the still.
Breakdance, man. I mean, come on. You've heard of Drunken Master? Come on, we got breakdancing master. Come on. That should have been like a movie back in the 90s. You could have had like kung fu hip hop, some hip hop kung fu. Come on. They could have easily done that. And I mean, even the putties look great here. I mean, it was a fun, and they recreated the hell out of the juice bar. Come on.
Yeah, that's really good.
They did a tremendous job with the juice bar. Considering, I mean, back in the later Rangers series, is they reformatted the juice bar into what was that? Like kind of like an island club kind of place. Remember when what's her name? I can't think of the actress's name who took over the juice bar. They turned it into something else during In Space. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
So the fact that now the juice bar is kind of back to its old school look is, I mean, again, this goes back to like how much money did they sink into this, because they made the juice bar look like the juice bar. The new command center, inside and out, the Zords, the suits. I mean, just everything is like, the suits look like they're probably more comfortable for the actors too. Because going back to that image of Rocky you showed earlier when he's morphed, Like, look at the cuff of his gauntlet. He's got room in his wrist.
Yeah.
Like, even the suit itself, it doesn't look like they're kind of suffocating. They have room to move. And I mean, if you're going to do that with the suits, you're planning to reuse these suits for future.
Yep.
So I mean, it's this. Do we lose someone?
We lost Dan. Exactly.
They understood the assignment. That's
yeah.
we're all trying to say here. They understood production, understood the assignment. Zach's breakdance fighting looked great. A little slower than I remember when I was a kid, but
30 years will do that.
Still highly entertaining. So yeah, give it to Walter for pulling all those moves off. That was amazing.
I mean, I would be surprised because I know Steve Cardenas does martial arts. He's an instructor in his spare time, I think, isn't he? I think he has his own martial arts school, I want to say. So I'm sure even he was a little impressed that, Walter could do those moves,
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty impressive. I think that whole scene was done really well. The fightings was really, really good. Love the new putty animation. I think we saw it here in the preview first.
Yeah.
They're actually like breaking apart and dissipating instead of just kind of like disappearing.
Yeah, there's a pile of rocks, and I was like, that's
So Minh decides she's gonna take it upon herself. She's at the juice bar, but then she has the morpher on her, and they tell her to go home. Obviously, she doesn't go home. She goes to. Is this the point? They take her to the command center.
Yes.
And then they had the whole SPA talk, and then they leave her to go to space to Rita's palace while they leave her there, and she takes off in the rad bug and goes to confront the monsters who are stuck on the magnet, who fell into that trap so freaking easily. Like, that was just cake. And out around the corner comes Rita and basically kidnaps her and takes her to space while the other are in space. And we get these scenes where we find out, multiple Rangers have been captured to power this thing, and they're finding out what it is. And we get a crazy kind of scene where Minh sacrifices herself to protect Billy. Ted, what were you thinking about when you saw that whole thing break down?
Shocked. I was like, where is this gonna go? It looked very similar, almost like exactly the same as the energy dissipating when it hit Trini in the opening scene. So I'm like, if this is not gonna go well, like I couldn't figure out like what they were gonna do from that moment. And then I'm trying to think of a movie where this happened. There's always like something in the jacket pocket that sort of deflects the bullet. That's been a thing that's happened multiple times. I can't think of the last time it did. I don't know.
It happened in Mando.
Rush Hour? Or what happened?
It happened in Mando because Grief Karga had a piece of Beskar.
I mean, I'm thinking of any Western. Back to the Future Part 3.
It is. Marty wearing the part of that steam stove. He's got the iron plate underneath.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dan, what did you think when you saw she had these moments where like flashes that came into her eyes and the yellow power started to kind of take over her. It was really sort of emotional, but it seemed like something more too, and we kind of allude to that later. But what did you think when she was having those moments go through her eyes?
I thought it was really cool, and one of the only moments that you could have like a heart-to-heart with Trini, because the actress that plays Trini Tweet Trang is gone. However, there was this weird like I didn't tear up, but I know fans in my comments were telling me they cried at that moment because it's one of those heart jerkers, because it kind of goes full circle. Like her mom sacrificed herself for Billy. Now she basically did the same thing. And the one thing I loved about this that Zach kind of talked about was back in the beginning when they became Power Rangers in 93, remember when Zordon told them all those rules? Like, you can't use your powers for good, can't use it for vengeance, you can't tell people about it, like all those different things, you can't use it for personal gain. Well, that's why the morpher didn't work for her. I think the whole time was she was, doing the whole vengeance thing. But the moment that she did a selfless act, like Zach was talking about, that morpher was glowing. So it was really just a full circle moment where we got to see a glimpse of Trini again in Minh. And it's kind of cool how they're different, but they're also the same in ways, which is, and it's a daughter combo. There's going to be things that are the same and things that are different. Oh, go ahead, Dave. What do you got?
No, well, I want to add something to that because in the original series, remember when there was the issue between Kim and Kim, where the power coin was gone because Kat was evil. She stole a coin.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how the coins, the original Dino coins were bonded to the Rangers, right? So in a way, the coin, like you're saying, there were rules that, and I think at one point, under normal circumstances, I think a child would be, a descendant would be recognized like, yes, I'm the same DNA, I'm the same essence, but because she had that rage, that vengeance, it was like, I don't recognize you yet. But as soon as she, like you said, as soon as she did that selfless act, the morpher recognized. But also, this also kind of canonizes something that I always thought would happen because, like all true nerds, I wrote some fan fictions a couple years back, and one of them had dealt with a power coin, and then someone finding a coin centuries later, but the coin gave memories of its past holder. So this kind of like canonizes it that not only morpher is almost like genetic memory, almost passing it on to the next person, so that this kind of also gives us canon with how the Rangers were able to know how to pilot the Zords and how to use weapons and stuff. It's almost like the powers will pass on information, but it was almost like that moment. Also, I think a lot of people got emotional because it's like she got closer to her mother than she ever was before, in a way.
Yeah.
And now her mother is never going to be gone. So this kind of just made her so much stronger inside moving forward, because the morpher will always carry her mother with her.
I almost got the feeling that they're trying to say, like, even if Rangers pass on, they still live on in the morphing grid, sort of like kind of like Avatar, Airbender. Like they're within that lineage sort of thing. Yeah. Teddy, what were you thinking?
I was actually going to say that too, because of the conversation they have at the end of this, where she actually tells Zach and Billy like what happened to her, and they had not heard or experienced this themselves. It's almost like the spirit of Trini allowed this to happen, that her essence gets passed on. And so maybe it is like it could happen with any coin, but specifically it kind of felt like it was more of the mother connection, and that it was her essence that kind of passed on with the coin. Gentlemen, I have another stream, just like Daniel's had probably 10 today, and I know you guys have it as well. But I really enjoyed this, really enjoyed the special. I loved every single bit of it. Because I'm not going to have time to talk about it with you guys, the Battle of the Megazord, yes, that is clearly just the worst part, CGI wise. However,
it's okay.
However, I give them an A for effort, because it's also a new element they want to show us. The Megazord can move more free, more independent. It can do all these other things, as opposed to someone in a boxy suit who doesn't have a lot of functionality or free reign to do whatever they want. So I appreciate what they're doing and how they did it. It doesn't look fantastic, but if they decide to move forward with some other side projects, they might put some more money into that, because I know they have it.
Man. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, man.
Gents.
Have fun on your stream, man. Later, man.
May the power be with y'all.
All right, guys. And now, before we get to the climax of the show, which was obviously the big battle, which we need to talk about because they went a lot harder than I thought they were going to go in that climax. We need to do one of the big giveaways. So we got the big giveaway that we have been talking about, which is the signed Christopher Cayman Lee figure of Disguise Andros. This is the one that you had to sign up through the link that I shared, like 3 weeks ago? So there's been ample time to do that. So we're going to pick one. I think we're just going to pick, we got quite a bit of people. We got 150 people that signed up for this thing. So this thing looks crazy. Let me see. Is it showing up on y'all's end? Because it's
yes.
Okay, cool.
Is this an elimination wheel or one and done?
No, this is gonna be one and done, buddy.
Because I think that would be a whole stream if we did elimination.
Yeah, this would be 6 hours long.
3 hours later.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shuffle this 5 times. This is 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then we're gonna. I think you know what? I think I have it as you're eliminated, but whoever comes up first is the winner. So let's
just saying, how many of y'all ordered the Zap Megazord after watching that special?
We'll
get to that. Well, I guess I don't got the Zap one, but
dude, Chap or Ervin. Now, guys, I used your Instagram names on this one. So this is your Instagram name. Obviously, I have your email. If you're not here, Chappa Irvin, I will message you on Instagram and I'll email you. And congratulations for winning the Disguise Andros. As long as you're in the United States, it is yours, my friend. So congratulations. And it is
the envy of millions, my friend.
It is certified. What is it? Certificate of authenticity.
Oh, you got a COA for it too?
Authenticated, basically.
Dude, that's fire.
So it actually has this little sticker right here, and it has the web address, and it has it's already registered, so you can just go in and check. But he signed it. Actually, when I interviewed him, he holds it up and is talking about what he thinks about the figure. So if you need proof that I actually got it from him, he's holding it in the video interview that I did with him.
Yeah, so download the video.
So we get to It's Morphin Time. We get a full roll call for the first time in 30 years. Minh takes the place of her mom, and she is now the Yellow Ranger. And they have a full-on fight with Minotaur, Snizzard, and Robo Rito, which got a lot more graphic than I expected.
She got her point across.
Dan, we got Rangers impaling monsters.
Bro, like he went straight like sword brutal to the heart. Like even Kat was like, "Yo, that was a little brutal, wasn't it?"
She was like, "That's hardcore."
I think what I was most surprised about was Billy impaling Rita from behind. Like, dude, like I was like, "Oh, he's willing to go there."
Yeah,
like,
but you know what? In the defense, they are robots. They're machines.
Yes,
true.
Well,
okay.
And that's why there is one plot hole, because remember when Minh was calling them out, like, you guys have them on a magnet, but you won't blow them up, right? But then like 3 scenes later, we're stabbing them in the chest.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only plot hole I really saw that didn't make sense to me, but like it's Power Rangers.
You know, it's
but I think I was just so surprised that they went there. I was just like,
oh yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like,
well, I mean, if this is a sign of Power Rangers moving forward, bring it on.
Let's go. Man. Yes.
I mean, let's be honest. They did not make this special for 8 and 12-year-olds. They made it for us. Dan and Daniel. I'm sure you guys are like in your 30s, 40s here. We're they made it for us. Because they know that let's be honest, this was Hasbro Pulse commercial, okay? I mean, because they got the morphers, there's the rumblings about a master morpher. I would love to see their take on a blade blaster since they're doing all the other weapons.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, could we get this? Could maybe they were using blade blasters? We don't know.
All of us take out our weapons. Like
the Megazord is a Zap Megazord. That's what they used.
Yeah.
Daniel can back me up on that. And now that makes me want to weather mine. Because we saw the Megazord look like it's been used in a bunch of battles. So, but man, everything was just. And by the way, Daniel, you noticed that was not lightning collection figures that they used for the Rangers.
No, that was definitely a Lightning Collection figures.
No. If you pause in scenes, you won't see any. It looked like it was a solid piece, like they were little statues. Check it out.
I mean,
again.
I feel like they were repainted. Maybe they painted
No,
over the.
So I think that the first 3. Okay, so they might be Lightning Collection, but those first top ones
3,
definitely
like
had like
Jason,
some
Kim,
vinyl
and
over them, or something like some
Jason,
spandex or
Kim,
something. Like I know
and
what
Tommy,
you're talking about, bro.
But the other ones we don't get close-ups on. But it's just those 3 that we do.
But the other ones, though, to Dan's point that he said in another video, was that all of those Lightning Collection ones are actually out, and they look like the only ones that don't look like Lightning are those top 3. But it looks like
because they were closed up.
It looks like they took Lightning Collections and put cloth on them or something.
And to be fair, all those ones are
third parties.
All those ones are clearance ones right now. So it's like, hey, let's put them in the show. Maybe people will buy them up. And we can probably get them off of clearance.
You're like, they basically looked at the numbers and said, what are the lowest selling figures?
We had some Dino Thunder there. Yeah. We had some Galaxy Rangers, so
Lost Galaxy. We saw the Beast Morphers. I know those are always on clearance.
In space, red, black, and yellow are always clearance.
Tanya. And we just know that Yellow Rangers are hard sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
That's the only one that's ever in my clearance at Target. Like all Lightning Collection Power Rangers stuff always gets bought up, except for maybe like a pink or a Yellow Ranger will be in the clearance.
Yeah. So then we get Rita, and she decides that she is going to make Snizzard big again. And we didn't get a full launch of the staff. She kind of just like, if you kind of watched it, it wasn't a full like in the Sentai. It was
we didn't get like the ground shaking with electricity going through the ground or anything like that. It was just like, lawn darts. I'm playing lawn darts,
and it landed.
And a bunch of wind is
to be fair, she didn't have to throw it as far as she usually has to throw it.
True.
So we get the reintroduction of the Megazord. They get transported to the moon. They obviously that scene that they redid. Like I know they redid it for nostalgia purposes. But that scene looks like it's going to be reused.
By the way, did you guys notice they never used the word teleport? They used the word teleporting once.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
But throughout the special, like when Zach first shows up to help Billy, I zipped. We zipped here as quickly as we possibly could. It almost seemed like they were trying to avoid the term teleport for some reason,
which is weird.
But then they used the word teleporting when they're transferring the Zords from Earth to the moon.
Oh yeah. Alpha does say that.
And also, gentlemen, this is the first time we get Megazord in space, technically speaking.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, at least this Megazord, you're right, dude.
The Mighty Morphin Megazord was never in space.
Yeah, no,
but of course we like. I mentioned this to Legacy on a previous stream like a week or two ago. Like, hey, we don't have to worry about not getting any sunlight because it's on the moon, it's in space, so it's going to get all the solar power it needs.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's closer. It's definitely so. Yeah, we were talking about it being dark and how basically, the Megazord runs off of light, but if they're in space, it's basically much more infinite power for the Megazord. Yep. So maybe it runs at a much more higher pace. Maybe why we got flips and karate moves from the Megazord instead of just almost they look like a guy in a suit, which you never know. But so we get the Megazord mode. Billy and I was gonna say Trini, but Billy and Minh get in there. They do it right away. They finally mention like it'll come second nature to you, is what they finally said. I don't think they've really said that before. They've insinuated that it comes second nature.
Except for the first episode. Billy actually says that in episode 1. It seemed, how am I running this? It seems like second nature or something.
Right, that is correct. So we got, I guess, a callback on that, on how they know how to pilot Megazords. And they're fighting Snizzard, and I think this is the point where this is the point where Zach takes out Rita. She opens up her time portal, sees herself for a second. I guess that's a new dumpster because they made a point of showing that behind the sets they had a new dumpster. But this was the most.
They definitely refilmed that little dumpster scene.
Yeah, so she gets all happy, and then Zach takes her out, and then they fight Snizzard and the Megazord, and we get I know what you're saying. People are going to complain about the CGI, but I mean,
it's still way better
than
the Mighty Morphin. Both the Mighty Morphin movie, the Mighty Morphin and Turbo, it was still a way better scene because Mighty Morphin, the first Mighty Morphin movie, the CGI was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
95 though.
I will still take this over anything else over that. Could have been better. Yes, it could have been way better. And I mean, like the backflips and everything. I mean, Megazord like doing full flips in here. I'm like,
that being said, I still want the chromed out Ninja Megazord from the movie. They need to make that someday. Like, I need that Megazord that has never been released in any form or fashion.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, we've had people make them customly, and they cost them like a foot and an arm to like make them.
This is what Daniel's going to do. He's going to find someone who can 3D print that, and he's just going to like get like chrome paint, just chrome the whole thing out. There you go.
Yeah,
it'll be done. But I mean, yeah, it's like this was like it was still the best ever. I mean, we get I mean, everything just like we think Rita's taken out, but then she's still going. Like she powers back up and like, but like they killed it. And I mean, if anything, like Netflix is going to look at the rewatch numbers.
Yeah,
and it's a done deal. They have to.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll wrap this up. So they finish Snizzard. They get it done with him. They go back to the command center. They have their victory. They talk about they're taking all of the little Rangers to Aquatar to fix them. They bring up Billy's girlfriend over there, and
they don't mention wife.
They say, "Are you going to see her?"
Just said that Sestra misses him. You know, that's all that they say.
I almost thought Billy was going to say, "Yeah, I probably should go see the kids." Like I almost thought he was going to say that for a second. Didn't come through, but if you guys are reading his quantum continuum, then you guys know he has kids with Aquatarian kids in his own script. But hold on, let me get through this, and then we get the juice bar moment, which is they're talking about, is there a possibility we can still bring back Zordon because something weird happened with the Morpher with Minh? And I think this is where they're talking about the open-ended situation of can we get more movie specials, a 10-episode series or something. I think this is what a lot of people want to talk about because it did not this when you get to the end of this episode, it feels so much like a pilot. It feels so much like a pilot. Dan, I see you want to talk about it.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. I absolutely loved it, and I liked how they actually had a conclusion and Minh kind of apologized for being a jerk, but Billy came out and said everything that you said to me, I already said to myself, because he knew you guys were alluding to this whole conversation that, you could see it in his eyes that he was wearing that paint on his sleeve. And through time, we really saw Billy kind of, he got ran through the mud a little bit, and it's not the same Billy that we know. Life was a little bit more rough on him, and when he was yelling at Zach, I'm like, yo, Billy's got balls now. Like, let's go, because little old Billy, I remember, would have never stayed up to Zach, like, yelling at him. It was cool, and I like how they actually developed the character. Sometimes you see these kind of spin-off reunion things, and they don't really develop them. This, with the small amount of time that they had, I thought it was pretty cool. And I love that conclusion at the end, talking about Zordon. And they're keeping it open. And the one thing I love is we're not closing anything with Minh. And I think it would be stupid to introduce a new legacy character, because she is a legacy character. She's the daughter of the OG Yellow. You have to bring her back. Like it only makes sense. That was the first thing at the end. I'm like, yo, and then I bet you'll probably talk about the end, but by the end of it, I was crying, bro.
Yeah. So what he's talking about is our tributes that we were all expecting for Jason David Frank and Trini Trang, which is just when you see it and they play the song, and it's just weird because I was telling my fiance about it. It's like, when they filmed that back in the day, for some reason they seem to focus on Trini and Tommy in that, and it was almost like
a little prophetic,
like it was kind of weird, but you have these really good moments of of watching Tommy and Trini, and that was just
we had one of the singers
hard.
in this special though.
I mean, it was really
Zach joins and singing with her.
Yep, that's true. But yeah, I mean, I think by this time I was like emotionally done as far as like it was just really, really, sad. And I just, for me, and I think for Ranger fans in general, like, we've lost Twee. Twee has been gone for almost 20 years now, but the fact that JDF is gone, it's just
not even a year,
it's so
and
unreal.
it's still just
it's so unreal. Like it's hard to think about. We don't have JDF here with anymore. So
you see, I got the green lights on.
Yeah,
I got the green in the background, man.
Which brings us to the end of the show. Dave, what are your last thoughts of Once and Always? What are your last thoughts?
On Once and Always, it's a home run. It's a home run. I think a lot of us were like, well, we've seen the crossover episodes before. Like, how is this going to be any different? Oh, it's Netflix, but we all know that Netflix doesn't always have home runs. But Hasbro, they killed it. Basically, let's be honest, this was mostly like a 55-minute commercial from Hasbro's perspective, but now it's like it's a shot in the arm for fans. Just like Ted was saying earlier, very much like Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm not just bringing it up because I'm a Ghostbusters fan, but it was a big shot in the arm for the fan base, and this is the shot in the arm for the fan base now. This showed that us 30 and 40-year-old fans, like, wait a minute, they can make a story that will engage us, that will get us interested, that'll keep us going. They're like you said, we saw Rita get friggin' pierced, like speared by Billy. We saw Minh throw her daggers and pin Rita to that little fence, that little balcony thing. I mean, we saw, we saw Rocky go hardcore. Have we ever seen Rangers do that? I mean, maybe because they're older Rangers, like, do they, hey, you know what? I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. I'm not taking any more chances. I'm not a kid anymore. This needs to stop now. We've already lost one of our own. We might not get some of our others back. This is, I mean, they like, this is the one reason I think Jason David Frank stepped away from the franchise finally was, I want to tell older stories for the fans. They finally did that. Some of us would like a little bit more gritty, but I mean, but they showed us like, hey, we can still make a show that families can watch together, but we can get the adults interested in it again. We can bring some of the fans back to the franchise now. And as far as the end, I mean, I loved it when they mentioned the Trubian Empire and the Cirrus Galaxy, and dropping the mention of, oh, would you like me to bring you back a souvenir from Miranoi? Which tells us Billy is he's not just going to Aquitar, he's going way out.
Yeah.
Cosmic Fury. I mean, come on, it's going to tie everything together. The fact that the command center is synced up with Ranger teams throughout the universe, or maybe through other dimensions, RPM. I mean, it opens up a floodgate. And now that we know that the other Ranger, the OGs, are now synced up with, I mean, just like Billy and Zach said, with the Morphin Grid, the possibilities are endless out there with the Morphin Grid. So I mean, anything is possible. As there is one thing I want to throw out there, with Tommy though, they do have a way to write Tommy out. If for some reason Tommy didn't survive being changed back, being restored, because at one point Rita was like, when she had the first three Rangers, she was like, oh yeah, oh, this isn't much. Like, she was disappointed about the energy draw, but then later on she sees, she was really impressed with like how much more energy she was pulling. I was almost thinking, could she have altered the machine to maybe take more power out of Tommy? Because if there's one person she would really love to destroy, it would be Tommy.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, they could use this, that maybe that, because he was in there so long and his powers have been taken and brought back and taken and brought back so many times, that maybe he's the one that's held the most powers over the years, different sets of powers.
Yeah.
That maybe his body just couldn't take it, and he doesn't survive.
Yep.
And if JJ is, we don't know what his age is. He could be 14 or 15 at a camp. That doesn't mean he can't be a Green Ranger in a year or two.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe 4 or 5 years. I'm thinking he's like 13, 14 by now.
You never. I mean, hello, Justin.
I don't know.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying. Know how the fan
that's all I'm saying.
Him.
Justin. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Justin.
Real quick, I want to thank Wanda for donating. I really appreciate you.
Hey,
you're amazing. Wanda. Thank you. Real quick, before we get to Dan, because I feel like me and Dan are going to be pretty much saying the same thing as far as our last thoughts of Once and Always. I do want to finish that last giveaway of the JDF poster.
You can send that to Grand Island, New York.
The JDF, and it was donated by Team JDF Texas here on the more phenomenal expo here in San Antonio.
Flexing, aren't you?
So yes, Jenna Frank was nice enough to donate this to me to give away for tonight. So let me.
I will sell a kidney for that.
It's a really cool poster. It's actually like 13 by there's like 12 by 18 poster.
It's so epic.
Dude.
So it's a little bit smaller than a movie poster, but it's a good size. I still have to find a frame for it. So I can
shout out Jenna Frank for the free poster. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
that would really go perfect with my little photo here.
All right, let me shuffle this 5 times. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's pick. This seems to be the one that people want the most. So whoever gets it will be the envy JDF, of a lot of people here. Oh, it's gonna be Barry.
Congrats, Barry.
If you're here in the chat or you're seeing this later on playback, I will also email you on Instagram, or I'll email you and Instagram you. If you see this before then, you can email me at thelegacyofnerd@gmail.com. You can message me on Instagram, message me on Facebook. And congratulations. I think a lot of people wanted that poster. So that's
he
all.
Will smoke signal you. He'll hit you up on communicator.
As long as you're US, it's you. So that's your poster.
Come on,
so
Hasbro, give us communicator.
I'm really hoping everybody was honest and did the US, and I don't get like, oh, I'm in, Antarctica or something like that, and after
I actually know a few people on your thing that are fans of my page that aren't living in this.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. I was going through. I was like, wait, I know that guy. He lives out in America.
Well, hopefully everybody's good. Congratulations.
He's in Paris. What's going on here?
What's that?
I was like, he's in Paris. What's going on here?
Right. We got Nick Tillett, winner of the Red Ranger Lego. Patricia Shepard Palacios of the Green Ranger Lego. Andrew Lubar won a Green Ranger Lego. Shapa Irvin won the Disguise signed Andros, and Barry won JDF. So congrats you all, you guys. Dan, last thoughts. What were you thinking Once and Always?
I'll make it short and sweet. I was impressed. I really liked it. As a fan that covers this pretty much since Beast Morphers, because like I watched this since I was a kid, but then I started the fan club almost 6 years ago, and I that was around the movie and Ninja Steel, and Ninja Steel just didn't do it for me. I tried to get into it and really, honestly, this is probably one of the best things I've seen. And I was a huge fan of Dino Fury because they're starting to think outside the box. They're starting to actually give us some character backstories and connect each episode. And with this special, I saw that. And I know that there's things that you can complain about, but this is just a teaser. If the fans go run it up, which I think we are, they could bring this back. And that's what it's about. It's about the world of possibilities of what you can do with this. And they gave us 1,001 possibilities from the space particles, from the Trubian Empire. And I know I said this before, but it just felt like the people making this were fans. Like they're like, oh, like they watched SPD and like, oh, SPD takes place in 2 years. So why don't we build up to that a little bit? It was awesome. I love when people actually like watch the brand and things they're working on, because you can tell that they're fans. Honestly, it was good. My expectations were they were met. I thought it was going to be a good special. It was. And now, fans, if you want to see a part 2, go and run those numbers up, man. It's up to us. No one else is going to get us this. And this is better than a movie, because really the fans can dominate this and run the streams up. For a movie in theaters, you have to really get other people. Like I feel like the Power Rangers 2017 movie, it like broke even just because the fans showed up. Like it didn't really cater to anybody else. But this is Netflix. This is a little bit different, and they're not making new characters. They're not making their new versions. They're bringing back old characters that's going to tug on those nostalgia strings.
They're paying them what they're worth.
Exactly. And I've seen people talk about this, like this Power Rangers project. People are talking about, there's people out there talking about, I didn't even know like Power Rangers, which I think is cool. Yeah. We can't be gatekeepers. If someone's talking about Power Rangers, you give them a high five and you be like, welcome to the club, bro. Because this brand isn't DC or Marvel yet. It's a big brand, but it's not the top action brand right now, but it has a lot of potential. So let's kind of accept everybody and run those numbers up, man.
Pretty much awesome, man. I pretty much agree. I mean, I think it, like I said before, it felt like a pilot. I feel like, it's up to us whether we're going to see more. I'm seeing things in the chat where they're saying that Kat said on her show that Netflix has been surprised completely about these numbers that they are receiving about Power Rangers, and they will continue to be surprised because they
weren't really promoting it.
The thing is, like, Power Rangers has been around for 30 years now, guys. Now, whether you are started as a fan of Mighty Morphin, or you started as a fan of Dino Thunder, or you started as a fan of Dino Charge, like, there is generational fans here, which is crazy. And it is we drive this show to continue, and we drive it through supporting where we can and supporting where we can't, obviously. So if there's something that you don't like, you will support it by not engaging with it. But if there's something that you do like, you need to make sure that you extra engage, because they need to see that as well. I think that's going to be it for tonight, guys. I don't think we can break this down anymore. I'm sure we could, but it is getting late for everybody. It is already like 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Dave, I want to give you the floor for about 2 minutes to talk about your campaign that you would like to talk about.
What Legacy Nerd is talking about is well, I'm not just Dave's Dimension. I am also, I kind of champion a few different causes. Toys for Tots throughout the entire year, because I'm actually a Buffalo Ghostbuster. I dress in full Ghostbuster gear. So I'm not only a Power Ranger, you can see the Ghostbuster stuff behind me, but I'm also a big Power Ranger fan. But this year, last year I did a stream called Stream for the Cure. All the proceeds they're donated go to Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Institute. They are the nation's oldest running cancer research and treatment facility in the United States. They began in 1898. Going back to 1989, they started an annual bike riding event where people fundraise throughout the year to raise money. That all the proceeds go to Roswell Park for cancer research and developments of new treatments. This year, I am doing the 44-mile route. I'm actually riding a bike from Buffalo, New York, across over to Canada, and then back from Canada over to the U.S. through Niagara Falls. It's a 44-mile ride I'm doing. This is my 3rd year. It's my wife's 9th year. We both have been doing this for the past several years. And what I'm asking is, you can go to Dave's Dimension. You can go to look up my channel, or even message me on Instagram at Daves_Dimension. I will have direct links to the Ride for Roswell donation site. And if you donate to the Ride for Roswell, a couple things are going on with that. Not only does the money go directly to Roswell Park, and so far, as of this year, they've already raised $1.68 million already. The past 3 or 4 years, they've been raising between $5 to $5.6 million a year. So there's still a long way to go this year. But I'm doing I'm doing my Stream for the Cure on April 29th. What that is it's an 8-hour open stream. Anybody and their grandmother can come on, hang out. You want to promote your channel, you want to promote your business, you want to promote your niece's babysitting service somewhere, whatever you have going on in your life, you want to come on, promote it. It's an open stream, but every hour we're doing one wheel. We're doing prize giveaways throughout the entire 8-hour stream. I have DC McFarlane figures to give out. I have some McFarlane vehicles to give out, including the Batmobile. I have comic book bundles, and I have 1 or 2 NECA figures to give out as well. To be entered on that, all you have to do is donate $20 minimum and message me on Instagram at Dave's_dimension or email me at davesdimension78@gmail.com. And you just have to give me your first and last name so I can mark you on the wheel. If you want to enter more than once, it's just $20 per entry. Okay, $20 is nothing. I mean, you barely get a good cheese and pepperoni pizza for that much. Come on. So it's just $20 and you get entered in on all the wheels. Okay, it's going to be elimination style. One person standing, that person wins the prize. Like I said, I have about 8 or 9 prizes to give out, guys. Okay, these are all brand new inbox. Nothing has been opened. And they're just waiting for you guys. So all you have to do, you can go directly to Dave's Dimension, go on my community tab. You'll find several postings about the ride for Roswell, and you'll find the donation links and details right there. Awesome, so help me help Roswell, and let's ride for a cure.
Everybody, the links are in the chat. LeBron Fett is posting them. Make sure you go in there and check out Dave's Dimension. He's giving away so much stuff for just a $20 entry. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yo, that's awesome, man. Good for you, Dave. Like, I support people that are making a difference, especially using their platforms to help other people. So shout out Dave, man. That's awesome.
Last year, we were fortunate to raise $1,300 between the streams. This year, it's been a little bit slower because, the economy and everything else. Right now, we're sitting at about $605. And I'm, these are brand new items that I bought myself because I kind of plot out this throughout the year to try and get these prizes so we can do this stream. But it's going to be an 8-hour stream, April 29th from 10 a.m. Eastern until 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wow.
Even if you didn't donate, if you want to come on the stream, hang out, promote your channel, because my channel is all about growth. I'm always trying to help other people's channels. Daniel knows I'm always helping promote Legacy and Nerd. And, of course, our don't forget our Facebook toy group, Toy Collectors Unite.
Nice. I have to join that.
There's a Power Rangers group too. I never put the thing up here for it. This is what the cover page looks like for our group. So
Collectors Unite. I'll find it, dude. I'd love to be part of your toy group.
Any kind of collecting, whether it's NECA, whether you collect creepy dolls. I mean, whatever you want to collect, it's up to you.
And Dan, do you have anything coming up that you wanted to talk about for your channel?
Just gonna be plugging away at all these once and always videos. I'm probably gonna give you 20 videos in the next week or two, honestly, and then we're gonna dive into that Cosmic Fury. So it's a great year to be a Power Ranger fan, guys.
Yes.
I know some people were complaining, we only get like a special in 10 episodes, but it's like it's 2 different projects. It's different, and like it just
episodes
like,
without commercials, man. Come on, that's the selling point for me.
I love it, and it just seems like something when you listen to their investor call, it looks like something was pushed back. Where like they might not even given us anything this year, and they said, "Screw it, let's still give them something."
Do everything.
Look at the UK. The UK, they like an average series, like average episode run, like Doctor Who, is 12 or 13 episodes a season.
Wow.
And they're like 40, 45-minute episodes. So, I mean, for a children's show, or, Power Rangers, we're getting what? We're getting 10 episodes. They're probably going to be, I'd say, between 35 or 40 minutes, even if it's that, if not longer.
I'd be really surprised if they're 35 to 20 minutes. I'm still expecting the 22 minutes.
Yeah, I think Cosmic Fury is going to be around 20s too. Yeah, I hope not, but
yeah. Maybe the last one might be a little bit longer.
But I mean, if they don't do filler, if they do it like they did this special,
I don't think there's gonna be very much.
Fine.
So, it's gonna be amazing because I mean, your average Power Ranger episode, half-hour series, you gotta figure 5 or 8 minutes of commercials potentially, maybe 5 or 6 minutes of commercials. You get 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 breaks of that. That takes out.
There's the link to our Power
Rangers. It takes out a lot. So,
so guys, and for myself, as you guys know, those who follow me, I never know what I'm doing tomorrow. So I will tell you, I do have a couple interviews that I still haven't posted.
Keep your notifications on.
Yes.
He goes live like 10 minutes before.
Yeah, I'll just go live. I'll be like, I'm going live in 10 minutes, guys. And that's the way it'll go. Sometimes we'll do giveaways and sometimes not. Sometimes we'll just chat. But I really never know what I'm going to do. So tomorrow's a new day. We'll figure it out. But I will tell you, I do still have some more Ranger interviews that I haven't yet to post. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know what other Rangers I've interviewed. So still got Cosmic Fury that I need to post. Still got Beast Morphers I got to post. All around, man. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. This is probably the biggest stream I've ever hosted. I want to thank you guys for all showing up. I want to congratulate all the winners for winning tonight. This is not a usual thing. I don't usually give away this much stuff in one night, but I was so excited about this, and I wanted to make it special for as many people as possible. So congratulate to the winners. I want to thank Dave for joining us from Dave Dimension. Yep. Remember to donate for his ride to Roswell is really important. And plus, there's a lot of upside for you to join or to donate, because you're probably going to win something, because there's just so much stuff. I'd like to thank Dan from the fan club for joining us. It's always nice having a celebrity in the chat, so I got to interview Karen Ashley, and now I got to interview Dan. So
I just subscribed, Dan. I just subscribed today.
Thank you guys. So I'll have to do it back, man. And hey, I honestly, anytime you guys ever want to do this again, I feel like accepted on here, and I had a lot of fun. And if you guys watch my show, I'm always alone. I'm lonely, man. I need some friends. Like I need
we try to help each other, especially like me and Dave. We try to jump on each other's streams, and just let us know. I'm a little bit. It's harder for me. Dave is my man. He's like can get there whenever I just got to make sure
channels moderating.
Yeah, I just got to make sure that the baby's fed or asleep at the moment, or my lady is taking care of the baby, and then I'm good to go. I can do it. But
just Velcro the baby to the wall. You'll be fine.
Dude, I'm really, really close about like once she's big enough, like I'm putting the helmet on her. Like that's what I'm gonna do, and she's gonna be here live with us.
I told you she's gonna be known as the Legacy Ranger. That's what I'm saying.
She's already little
baby.
Everybody's calling her Little Legacy. So I think that might stick. I kind of like Little Legacy.
Little Lightning Collection, baby.
Right. Well, I want to thank everybody for showing up. You guys are awesome. Once and always, make sure to have that on repeat. Make sure you're watching it. You guys will see us more probably in the summertime when Cosmic Fury is getting ready to ramp up. Mm-hmm. But until then, you guys have a great night. May the power protect you. And you know what time it is. It's morphin' time.